There, and welcome to my first video. Today I'm just going to be doing an everyday makeup routine that I wear when I go to work on the weekends. It's just nice and simple. It usually takes me about 5 to 7 minutes. Obviously it'll take a little bit longer in the video because I'm walking through step by step, but once you have it done pat, it should only take you a few minutes. And it's just a nice way of looking made up without looking like it's too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I will post a link to all the products I'm going to use in the video. Unfortunately, the auto zoom on this camera doesn't work very well, so I will hold it up so you can see the product, but it might not focus very well. So like I said, I'll have a link and you can check all the products out in the blog post. Alright, so the first step is to put primer on, and the one I'm currently using is the Makeup Forever Step 1 in the pink. And I use the pink because my skin has yellowish undertones, so the pink kind of helps to balance that out. I just put this on with my fingers, so I just put a little bit on my finger like that, and then just put it on my face. Now, I've recently actually started patting it into my skin, and the reason being, after talking to a couple of estheticians, they actually said that it works better when you pat product into your skin because it helps your skin absorb it. So they were at the time talking about moisturizer, but I do find that it actually works for the primer as well. So I just go ahead and pat that in everywhere. Okay, and I'll just let it sit for a few minutes because I'm going to move on to my eyes first. The reason being, when you apply eyeshadow, a lot of times you get a little bit of fallout on your skin. So it's a lot easier to just wipe it away before you've done the full foundation and everything else. You're not smearing it off. Alright, so before I get to the eyeshadow, I'm going to put some primer on my eyes. And the one I'm currently using is just the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Green. It does come in just like a white, I guess. I'm currently using the Green because I do like that it has a little bit of sheen to it underneath the eyeshadow. So that's why I've kind of gone with this one as opposed to just the plain, but they both work just as well. My eyelids are pretty oily, so I'm not going to lie and say that this gives me, 24-hour wear or anything like that, but it definitely does give me a few extra hours than if I didn't have anything on. I do actually find that it works really well underneath the eye because I put a little bit of eyeshadow underneath my waterline, and because I don't get as oily in that area, then it does actually help extend it. If I don't put it on, it's pretty much gone within an hour or so, but when I do put it on, I find, for example, today I had it on, by the time I got off work at about 5, there was still some eyeshadow left there, where usually that would have been long gone by then. So it does work well in that regard. Alright, so once that's on, I'm just going to go right into the eyeshadow. The eyeshadows that I'm currently loving are part of the Urban Decay Naked palette, the first one. And I find this palette is awesome, as I'm sure many of you are aware. It just has everything from daytime all the way over to night. So this is kind of what it looks like. For daytime, I tend to stick to these colors over here. And then these ones, if I want to add a little bit of drama at night, then I'll go on to that end. So my favorite one, as you may have noticed, is Half Baked. And I say that just because it's the one that's almost halfway used as opposed to the other ones. So I actually just use the brush that came with the palette because I find that it's dense enough that it packs on the color pretty well. And I just kind of pat that onto my lid and go a little bit higher. And I'll do the same on the other side here. And again, this is when the Greed Primer Potion works well because it has that bit of kind of metallic sheen, which goes really well with the Half Baked. So again, just kind of pat that on there. And then just to add a little bit of dimension, I go in with the Buck, which is the color to the left of Half Baked. And it's just kind of a matte brown color, but like I said, I just like the extra little bit of dimension. So I go kind of on the outer edge of the eyelid and then just into the crease there. Blend it in a bit, and then same on the other side. Alright, and from there I usually do go in with the third color, just dabbing it into the crease, again to add just a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to go with the Smog, which is the one to the right of Half Baked. Just kind of tap that into the crease there. As you can see, it just adds a little bit more color there. And it makes your crease and your eye look a little bit more hooded, which I like. So just go in with that. So that's kind of it for the eyelid area. From there I go in with the highlight, and I just use Virgin, which is the one on the very left. So right here. And I just go up to the brow bone area to highlight that and also help blend a little bit of the color there. Gives that little bit of sheen. And same on this side. Alright, and then don't forget to put it in your inner corner because that does help brighten the eye and open it up a little bit. So just dab it on the inner corner there. And then if I want a more soft look, I'll just line my eyes with the eyeshadows themselves. I've been doing that the last few days just to give it a bit of a softer look as opposed to the black eyeliner, which is a little bit harsher. So I'll go ahead and do that for this video. But if I am going with the eyeliner, then I do use this Tom Ford eye defining pen. And I use the end with the gold circle around it. I just find that it's a little bit longer, the tip of it is. And so it just goes on more smoothly, I find. But like I said, for this I'm just going to go ahead and use some eyeshadows to give it kind of a smokier feel. So I'll just go in with Dark Horse and just kind of tap it all along there. And it just kind of smokes it out a bit. Alright, and then I'll go a little bit darker and add Hustle to that. And this I'll just kind of smooth it over. And that just kind of blends the two in a little bit. And like I said, this gives a little bit more definition, but isn't as harsh as a black liner would be. Alright, then for the bottom one, I just use the other edge of the pencil, and I start with Buck, and I just go in under my waterline, because if I go right on the waterline, I find my eyes get pretty teary, and then it just ruins the effect right away. So if you go a little bit lower, and I go in about 3/4 of the way instead of all the way in, because I find that makes your eyes look a little bit smaller if you go all the way into your waterline. If you keep it on the outside, it keeps your eye looking a little bit more open. So I just went in with Smog and then Dark Horse on top of the Buck. Alright. So that's kind of it for the eyes. Got a little bit of fallout, nothing too crazy this time, which is always good. So just kind of wipe it away. If you have a makeup wipe, obviously that works really well as well. So I'll just jump into the foundation. The one I'm currently using is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in number 5. I really love this foundation. I've used a few others. I think I used NARS, I've used the Bare Minerals powder and Hourglass. Tried the Too Faced. Yeah, I've used a bunch of different ones, but I keep coming back to this one because it just goes on really nicely, looks really natural, not caked or anything like that, and I'm just happy with the way the color matches my skin tone, so I've kind of stuck with that one. And I do use a Beauty Blender brush. Sorry, I forgot to get that down beforehand. So I just use the black Beauty Blender brush, and I usually put a squirt onto my hand. I've now taken it off, but I put a squirt onto my hand because it helps warm the foundation up a bit. So I go from there and just dab, dab, dab with the Beauty Blender onto my skin. Now I do find the Beauty Blender soaks up product more than if I use, you know, my hand or even my foundation brush. So I usually have to do a couple of squirts to get my whole face done, but that's alright, because I do like how natural it goes on with the Beauty Blender. So again, just dab, dab, dab. Just make sure you get it in around your nose. top, but make sure you go all the way to your hairline, because you don't want to have that line where your makeup ends and your skin starts. So you just go all the way up, down, and then right below your jawline. You just want to go a little bit down your neck just to help it blend. So again, you don't have that kind of harsh line where your makeup ends and your skin begins. Okay, so that's kind of it for foundation. If you want more coverage, I try and keep it light, then you could do another layer. But like I said, I kind of try and keep it light and natural looking. So from there, I'm going to go on to the concealer. And right now I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Vanilla. I actually got color matched at Sephora. The first time they said vanilla, the second time they went with custard. So I do have both. But I do like the vanilla because it's a bit lighter and I find it brightens up the eye area a little bit more than the custard does. So I just go in a triangle shape under my eye like so. And then just dab a little blemishes. And then I go in with my beauty blender again and just blend, blend, blend. And with the blemishes, I do find it helps to go farther than just right around the blemish, so it's not just a big dot, because then it helps kind of blend it in a bit more. Alright, so that's it for the foundation. So I'm just going to move on to the bronzing and blush. I'm currently using the Hourglass Ambient Light palette, and I absolutely love it. I can't remember if it was a special edition or not. I think if it was, you can still get 2 out of the 3 colors and something similar from Sephora. Or from Hourglass, sorry. So this is what the palette looks like, and I absolutely love it. So even on days when I don't want to do full eyes and I just want mascara, a little bit of concealer, I still use all 3 of these on my face because it just gives me a nice glow, I find, and the color works really well. So I'm just going to start with the darkest shade over here, which is Dim Light, and I just use that kind of in the contour areas. So I go beneath the cheekbones there, and then up in kind of a, I don't know, maybe a reverse L or a C shape, depending on what you want to call that. And then same on this side. So just under the cheekbone and then go all the way up. And then just along the jawline a little bit. I take a bit more and go along the hairline and down a bit. And then just on the outer edges of my nose. Okay. And that's it for that color. From there, I actually move over to blush. And right now I'm using the NARS Orgasm Blush, which is a pretty standard one. A lot of people have it. I do have other ones, but I just love how it gives me kind of a natural glow. So I just do that right on the apples of my cheeks. And then I go back to the Ambient Light palette, and I actually use this one on the left here, which is called Radiant Light. And I layer that right over the blush because I find it gives me just a little extra glow. I really like it. It just kind of enhances the blush color. So I just go right over it like that. And then the last thing I do is the highlight, which is the middle one, Incandescent Light. Just go kind of right up and down like that, and then go above the cheekbones over here, and then the brow bone area there. And for all that, I use the Pro Precision Powder 59 brush from Sephora. Actually, I shouldn't say for all of that. That was for anything within the Hourglass palette. And then for the blush, I use the Pro Airbrush 55 brush from Sephora. And I find those work really well. So that's kind of it for the face. From there, I go into eyebrows. And I'm using the Anastasia Perfect Brow Pencil in dark brown. I did have the pomade, I can't remember what it's called, maybe Dip Brow or something like that. and I would use it with an angled brush, and that worked well, but I like how convenient this is because I can take it with me anywhere, and I just pencil it in, and then this brush works wonders at getting the product into your brow and then cleaning up any kind of excess that got out of the area where it was intended. So I'll just go ahead and fill those in a bit. Just go all the way out here. And I just like to follow where the hairs would naturally go. So I kind of go up here and then out to the corners. And then, like I said, this brush works beautifully because you can just brush it through and clean up the outer edges a bit. Alright. And then I always use this Maybelline Great Lash Mascara on top of that because it just helps set the brows in place. I probably started penciling my brows in the last year or so, and before that I just exclusively used this because it would hold the hairs in place without adding color. But I did notice that actually penciling them in helped frame my face a little bit more, because they do say the brows are what frame your face, so adding a little bit of color just gives it that extra definition. So I just go ahead and go over it a bit. And like I said, it just helps keep them in place. Alright, so that's it for the brows. Then the last step is just the mascara. I never used to be a eyelash curler, but I kept reading reviews and people raving about this, I don't know how to pronounce it, Shu Amura eyelash curler and how it's life-changing and whatnot. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I did try the test with doing one with the eyelash curler, one without, and I definitely found it did make a difference at just making my eyes look more wide open and my eyelashes fuller. So definitely recommend that. I have heard you can heat it up with a blow dryer, and that helps it stay a little longer and give you more curl. I haven't actually tried that, but I will give it a go one of these days. I just go in and I usually do 5 seconds with it just like that, and then another 5 with my eyelashes lifted a bit, and then same on the other side. And from there, I just recently started using this Lancome, I believe it is, product, and it's just a super enhancing mascara base. I got it in one of the Sephora samples, and again I did it on one eye just to see the difference, one eye with, one eye without, and I definitely found it made my eyelashes fuller. So I have been using that every day and I really like it. And it's great because it goes on white, so you can see exactly where you put it on and where you might have missed. And then the mascara I'm currently using is from Tom Ford. It's the Extreme Mascara in Raven. This is a really great mascara. It goes on really easily. It's not clumpy at all, and you can layer it really well again without the clumps. Unfortunately, the price is a bit steep. I think this one was $50. So I don't know that I'll repurchase just because of the price, because I'm going to keep trying a few other ones and see if I like anything just as well. But if the price doesn't deter you, then this is definitely a great mascara to try out. So just put that on. I do tend to focus a little bit more on the outer edges because I feel like that opens your eye up a little bit more. So I tend to do just a little bit more on that outer edge. Gives it a bit more lift, I find. Okay, and then that's it for that. The last step would just be the lips. So for the lips, I'm just going to go with a nice neutral color that I would use every day. And for me, that is the NARS Belle de Jour. It's a nice peachy neutral color. Obviously, depending on your skin tone, it might not work for you, but I find it works really well for me. It gives me a little bit of a sheen because it's kind of a glossier lipstick. there, I like to layer a gloss because I find it helps the lipstick stay a little bit longer. So the one I'm really loving for neutral looks is this Marc Jacobs Enamoured Lip Lacquer in Sugar Sugar. Absolutely love Marc Jacobs lip products. I have a couple of lipsticks in a hot pink and a red, and just love how they go on. Super smooth. They last for hours. I think mine lasted about 6 hours today. That was after eating, drinking, going to the gym, and actually dabbing it with a napkin. I was sure it would have come off by then, but went back to my desk and it was still there in full force. So can't recommend them enough. This lip gloss works really well as well. Love the color. It's got great sheen to it, and a couple of my girlfriends are constantly coming in to borrow it and have actually purchased it for themselves as well. So just go over with that. And that is it for my everyday makeup look. The last step would be to spritz with a setting spray. And I just use the Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray. I know there's a few different versions. This one says it's cooling and hydrating, which I like because I have fairly dry skin. So I spritz this on, helps set my makeup, helps it last a little bit longer. And then I have a vitamin E spray from the Body Shop at my desk, and I kind of spritz that throughout the day just to keep my skin hydrated. So I'll just spritz that. And that is it for the everyday makeup look. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the post below and let me know if you want me to do any other specific videos, and I'll work on those. Like I said, I'm going to link to everything in the blog post, so if you didn't catch it in the video, then you'll be able to see exactly what I used. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!